My name's Jacob Keys. I'm the chairman of the Iowa Tribe of Oklahoma, and I'm the founder of Skydance Brewing Company. When we opened this location, we got a lot of news coverage and media, and so people would see me on TV, and they're like, well, where's the native? Everybody's got this idea in their head from a movie, some black and white movie, of what Native American's supposed to look like, and it's always a sad story or, somebody on a horse on the prairie somewhere or whatever. My tribe, we don't have any full-blood Ioways left. And so all of us are, just part Iowa. When you look at me, this is colonialism. This is what it looks like. When we started Skydance, we never had the idea that we were going to be this Native American craft brewery. We were just going to be Oklahoma's craft brewery. A lot of people, especially natives, started to feel a little bit inspired by what we were doing as far as a native entrepreneur with the beer names and the things that we do, trying to be more into the native culture a little bit or trying to shine a light on native culture. If we don't have the culture, then we don't exist. My hope and vision is that they still have the sovereignty, that we still have all the things that my elders and my ancestors fought for. We got to pass those stories down. In our culture, that's how we teach the younger ones about our culture, is through storytelling. We're the original storytellers. When I was a kid, my dad homebrewed as a hobby, mainly because you couldn't buy good beer in Oklahoma. I would kind of help him every once in a while, but I think he had a batch of beer brewing, and I opened it up. I messed the batch up, and when he realized it was me, he said, I think I should show you what this is all about so you know what not to do. And so he taught me how to make beer, and I'd help him out, and I kind of fell in love with it. It's like you've got this grain, and then it turns into this stuff in a glass like you'd buy at a store. So it was magic, That was always just our way of spending time together. When I was in college in Norman, I worked at a brewery there. I was, bartender and then a manager there, and he would come in when he got off work, and we'd talk about how we were going to open a place like that one day. And it was just talk. My dad was famous for the phrase, one of these days, Then he got real sick and went into a nursing home. He had MS. I was going through some of his stuff, and I found a book on home brewing, and I opened it up, and this piece of paper fell out. And it was a recipe that my dad had from when we made beer together. And I said, I'm going to make this batch of beer and take it to him in the nursing home. He got to drink it, and he just loved it. I can remember him, taking a sip and, who made that? I said, you did. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's good stuff. And then I got kicked out of the nursing home that day. I couldn't come back for a week. And so I go to a homebrew club here in the city. I took the beer, and everybody just loved it. And they said, hey, you need to put it in this competition down in Dallas called Blue Bonnet. So I send the beer off. I got this voicemail, and everybody's screaming and yelling, saying, you won, you won, you won. And so I'm excited. I can't wait to go get my medal and take it to my dad's nursing home, put it up above his head on the bed, And then I get a call from my brother and said, Dad just passed away. I couldn't leave till the next day, so I go have dinner with our tribal chairman and CEO at that time, and they said, whatever happened to you and your dad opening a brewery? And I started thinking about it. I was like, you think you got time to do stuff, but you're not promised tomorrow. I'm going to do it. I'm going to open my dad's brewery. And I gave myself a timeline. I said, I'll have a brewery by the time I'm 40 years old. I was 35 at the time. And so we brewed our first batch 2 weeks after I turned 40 in 2018. I want younger Native Americans to see that you can go live your dream, you can start your business. That's just kind of why we always point out so much that we're a Native American business. This took $1 million to start this business, so where does a guy from Little Axe and a mobile home, where did I come up with $1 million? I tell this to our kids in our tribe all the time. There's going to be people in your own family, there's going to be people in your own tribe, there's going to be people in your community that are going to try to tell you that you're not made to succeed in this world, and it's just not true. You've got it all right here. You just have to believe and know that you can do it. There's not this system, there's not this thing in place that does that. You've got to change it right up here. And if I can show them that path and what it looks like, then that's great. If we can make one person go start their dream business, then it's all worth it.